Hi there, my crafty friends. It's Ashley Pfeiffer, the maker behind Stamped AF, and this week I am bringing you a fun little 3D project. We are going to make a little tea light holder. So this is a very snug fit. I am deeply immersed in craft sale prep, so I wanted a way to repackage tea lights in groups of 4 instead of the 8. These are just Dollar Tree tea lights. These ones are vanilla. So we've got 4 more that we're going to do, but I also have a couple that I made using different colors, and this one's a salted caramel candle. I wish you could smell it because it smells divine. Glare. Yeah, I wish you had smell-o-vision because this smells amazing. So I used the hummingbird from the Mosaic Mood DSP and Scent with Love from Itty Bitty Greetings, and this is just from the Tasteful Textures. And then here's one without a sentiment, and it has that salted caramel again. I figured not everyone's going to want a sentiment on them, right? So there's 2. Let's make one of these. So to start, we need 2 pieces of cardstock, and I've written everything down. I've got some crazy mad notes. Started with a diagram, worked out some measurements, tweaked it a bit because the candles were moving around too much. So I think we're going to duplicate this one. Don't do what I do and forget to put your little thumb notch in. I ended up using just a regular office hole punch to do that. And then on this one, it's hard to see that, I punched it a little too far. So we're going to aim for this, which is just the right amount to get your thumb in there and it doesn't weaken the structure. So let's aim for that one. So on this one, we have a very vanilla top and a Sahara sand base. So we're going to start with our base. Not sure why, this is just the way I've been doing it all along. So I'm going to grab a piece of very vanilla and Sahara sand. And right now this is just 2 regular 8.5 by 11 pieces of cardstock. So for the base, we are going to trim it down to 5 1/8 by 5 1/8. Okay, so there's our base, and then for the top, we need 7 3/4 by 3 1/4. And then just hang on to your scraps because you can make another one out of the scraps. Now we need to bring in our Simply Scored. Move all this stuff out of the way. And I'll keep it just so you can see at the top, but I'm gonna tell you all the sizes and I'll put them along the screen. Okay, so for the base, we are doing a reinforced base because it was really flimsy on its own. So we are going to score at 1/2 and 1 inch on all 4 sides. Here is our this is like the wrap, so this is the top. So we are going to score at 1/2. Three 3 5/8. So that is just 1 tick past the 1/2 inch mark. 4 1/8. And then 7 1/4. And that is all the scoring that we need to do. Now, I'm not going to burnish these with my bone folder. I find that just rolling them with my hand is enough. We could certainly stamp something on here, but I'm going to leave it plain. And it doesn't really matter which one, but we're going to use the 3rd smallest stitched nested die to make ourselves the little cutout for the window. And because we don't need to keep the middle, I'm going to put all my sticky washi tape in there. Just run it through my die cutting machine. There we go, just peel that out. And now I have a piece of vellum that is, what is it? It is 3 1/4 by 2 inches. So it pretty much goes the length of the window. So we're just going to add some Tombow. You don't want to add too much because you don't want it oozing out. And then I just like to press it in, smooth all that glue. It almost becomes invisible. Okay, so that is ready. I'm gonna put some blocks on there and let it just sit. Now, sorry for the reach, we are going to prepare our base. So I want my tabs on both ends. So I am going to start, I'm gonna notch just a smidge there, tiniest little piece of pie. And then there, and there. And make sure you get those corners cut nicely, because if you don't, you will have that part showing. And then we're going to trim that piece. Now we can fold all of our score lines. This may seem confusing, but once you get the hang of it, once you make two, you'll know exactly what you're doing without even thinking about it. So we're gonna add a little bit of our liquid glue just to the tabs. You can use tear and tape here. I just prefer good old liquid adhesive. Just hold that down for a few seconds to let it set. Same thing on this side. Now, before we glue those tabs, before we go too far, let's get our 1-inch punch centered about in the middle, just eyeball it. And then remember, we don't want to go too deep. So I'm going about yay. So really didn't take a whole lot off there. But if you don't do that step now, you're not going to be able to, because the punch will not fit when it's all glued together. So these two we're going to do at the same time. That's actually quite a bit of glue. But we are ready to toss in our candles. And these fit Dollar Tree luminescence candles because they're not very high. They're only about 1/2 inch in height. So the next step is to wrap this around, and you want your thumb grip to be on one of the sides that you can see. And what I like to do is I don't like to assemble the lid on its own. What I like to do is add my glue here while it's wrapped around the box, and then adhere it. And then I know I'm not going too tight where the base won't fit in there. It's gonna be snug, but it will fit. Because without doing it this way, it would be really difficult to know how big to make it. Okay, so it is going to be snug the first couple times that you pull it in and out. Of course, because this is video, it's not going to work. There we go. So pull it in and out a couple times. And let that sit. Now for the decoration. See, that one was just as snug as this one was initially, but I've taken it in and out a couple times. So we have some scraps of Very Vanilla. From all of the bases that or tops that I've been doing. So now we are going to get Daisy Lane, a beautiful Daisy Lane, and we're going to use the small daisy. And then using Sahara Sand ink, I'm going to ink this up, stamp it off, stamp it on. Now I always recommend that if you're punching your daisies, you keep it perpendicular to the paper. It's easier when you have a petal going straight up and down. Otherwise you have to cut a bit of your paper off and it's never fun. Now for the cute little sentiment. It's your time to shine. Isn't that just so sweet for a candle? Well, for 4 candles. Isn't that sweet? I giggled. I didn't mean to use a pun, but it just kind of happened. Okay, so now all we have left is to punch these out, punch out a couple leaves, and we're done. So I used some mint macaron scraps. I'm going to punch out 2. Actually, no, we're just going to punch out 1. And then with the medium daisy punch, I'm going to punch these puppies out. I haven't used this punch much yet, so it's rather tight. And then using the classic label punch, we're going to punch our sentiment. So there's quite a bit of punching to doll this one up. And it just fits in there. Now to assemble. So all we need to do, add a bit of glue on that bottom flower. I like to take your pick tool to pick the second one up. And just stagger those petals so that you have one full daisy. Let that sit for a minute. I'm just going to curl my leaves a little bit. And just do that with your pointer finger and your thumb. Add a little bit of glue down here. I'm going to put the leaf right there. Put a little bit of glue on top. And then we're going to do that same motion and just work those petals so that they're coming up. Oh, I did that in the wrong color. So let's get our Sahara Sand and Daisy back out. It was too much Very Vanilla when I did it this way. I totally forgot. And now the finishing touch, the pièce de résistance, is a faceted dot, faceted gem. We're going to color it with Dark Mango Melody. Actually, I don't think that's what I used last time. I think I used Dark Crumb Cake. So let's leave that one. And you can color any of the embellishments with the alcohol markers, the Stampin' Blends. Just be careful that you don't press too hard because you will wear out the tip on the marker. Just pick that baby up, pop it down, and there you go. 2 very beautiful little tea light holders. And it took us like no time at all. So I thank you so much for joining me, and if you have enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider hitting that subscribe button below. I release 2 new videos each and every week. I do a Facebook Live once a week, and I think that's about all. There is the extra promotion is still on, so if you join in the month of August, you will choose $205 in product for $135, and then you get a $14 voucher to spend in September. And the holiday pre-order is on, so there's no better time to join because you can pick all of the amazing new holiday goodies that are not available to customers yet. So if you would like to join my Crafted AF team, just shoot me a message or click the join button below. And that is all, my crafty friends. I thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.